Hello and welcome to Wasted Talent Arts. Katie's not here today because she doesn't like the camera, so you got me. Hope that's okay. Anyway, she made some really cool stuff for Easter. You like Easter? Boop, boop, boop. I like Easter. It's really cool. I gave you a kiss. I'm so weird. Anyway, why don't we go waste some talent today?
This one's super easy. I bought these at Walmart and I'm going to turn them into ornaments. My mom has this little light up tree and she wanted ornaments for it, and we couldn't find any Easter ornaments. Granted, we only looked at Dollar Tree and Walmart, but anyway, I'm just taking some of this butcher's twine from Dollar Tree and I'm just using the adhesive that is on the sticker to put these together. You just want to make sure that you cover the hole so that when you insert your middles, they have something to stick to. So I'm using 2 yellow flowers back to back, and then I'm using the green centers from a green flower for the middle of this one. And I'm able to do all of the stickers back to back that are the same shape. So the butterflies, the eggs, and the flowers, I was able to do that back to back. But with the bunnies, I had to do something a little bit different because of their ears, and you'll see that in a second. So for the bunny, I'm gonna stick it to a piece of glitter cardstock, or some scraps of glitter cardstock that I had, which was actually kind of nice because I've been holding on to this scrap cardstock for probably at least 6 or 7 years. And I never knew what I was going to do with it, so it's nice to finally use it up. So here I don't need to cover the holes with string because the little decorative inside parts are going to stick right to the cardstock. And then you just take a pair of scissors and trim it up. And you'll get to see what these look like on the tree in the final reveal. I wasn't sure what else to call this other than a bunny sack. This came in a pack of 3 from the Dollar Tree. I used a pack of 4 from the Dollar Tree, and I used the other 3 as part of my boyfriend's Easter basket. Yes, I make an Easter basket for my boyfriend. He's spoiled, but also his favorite candy is jelly beans, so I kind of feel like I have to make him an Easter basket. Anyways, I just stuffed it with some polyfill, which was all I had left was that little bit of potty fill. Ew. That little bit of polyfill was all I had left, and it was just the right amount. And I just closed it with the jute that it came with. And I'm trimming the ears because they weren't earish enough for me. Now everybody else used one of these, so I figured I should too. This is from Dollar Tree. It comes in a little set with some paint, which is garbage paint, so we just got rid of that. And it is meant to be an ornament, so it had a little ceramic hole in the top. So I was just grinding that off with my hand tool there, hand file. And I'm going to give it a coat of gray chalk paint. Once that's dry, I'm going to dry brush over the top with some white or plaster chalk paint. And then I'm taking some ballet slipper, which is pink Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to color in his little nose and mouth and ears. And then I'm going to go back in with the original color gray, which is Steel by Waverly, and I'm going to fill in the eyes. This plate is from Dollar Tree. It came in a pack, maybe a pack of 6 or 4. I honestly don't know. But I'm just giving it a light sanding so that my glue and paint will stick to it better. And I'm going to use E6000 for this. The little pearls, half pearls, are also from Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter what color they are because they're going to get painted over. And I'm going to go all the way around the edge with these. And this was a project that was inspired by Unicorn Dust Designs, I believe. I think that's who did this. But I really liked it, so I decided to do my own version of it. And I just traced my little wood bunny, which is from Dollar Tree, onto some craft paper that was in a pink color that has a pattern on it that sort of looks like little eggs. And I'm going to use some matte Mod Podge to attach that to the front. And I'm just using a brayer to make sure that it's really stuck down. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put some chalk paint on here. This is a blue color called Pool. When that Mod Podge is dry, I can go ahead and sand off my excess paper. And then I'm going to add a Jenga block to the back so that the bunny will sit on the plate correctly. Now I'm going to dry brush on some of that pink chalk paint, which is the ballet slipper. I'm going to do that all the way around the edge of the plate. And I decided the bunny needed dry brushing in white, but I couldn't do it without making a mess, so I pulled it off. The glue wasn't dry yet, so I'm going to dry brush it and glue it back down. Then I'm using more E6000 to glue on some little flowers that have pearls in the middle. I've had these for ever and ever and ever. I have no idea where they came from, but I think it might have been Michael's. And then I'm using a little half pearl or a large half pearl as his tail and gluing down some more flowers. I believe all of those flowers are from Michael's. And that's it for this one. This is one of those silver metal platters from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use that same blue Pool color on it. And you may notice my plate to the left there, unfinished. I did this out of order, or I cut this together out of order so each project is together. So if you see stuff from other projects in the background, don't be confused. Anyhow, I'm taking some popsicle sticks and I'm making myself a fence. So in order to have this spaced out evenly, I'm going to put a whole popsicle stick in between each one of my pickets. And then I'm just putting glue on those so I can put a crossbar on them. And then I'll pick it up and pull out all of the whole sticks that I don't need. And yes, these are obviously real used popsicle sticks. I know that might seem gross, but it doesn't bother me none. You're going to see a lot of those because I was given an entire like Tupperware storage tub full of popsicle sticks. Somebody's relative used to save them, and they're probably from at least the 80s. And I have like 20 pounds of them. So anyways, that grass you see there is from the Dollar Tree. I just attached it with some hot glue and E6000. And now I'm just measuring out where I need to cut my fence. And I'm going to use E6000 and hot glue again to attach the fence. And then I am putting some, what's it called? Moss. I know it's moss, but there's a certain kind of moss, but I can't think of the name of it. But I was using that to cover the ugly glue at the bottom. And then I didn't show it, but I painted these wood flowers and butterflies and the mushroom. I got them from Dollar Tree. I also painted the bunny and eggs, which are foam, and those are from the Dollar Tree. They're actually sliced in half. They're usually three-dimensional. And then I'm gluing on some pearls, which are from Michael's from a long time ago, to embellish. And at this point, I realized that my fence is way too white, so I'm going over it with Waverly's Mineral, and then I'll go back in and dry brush over it again in white after. But as I was doing this, I realized that my eggs shriveled up from the hot glue and they looked really bad. So I peeled them off and I replaced them with these wood eggs. And these are also from the Dollar Tree. That's what they look like naked. And then here I just point out to you that I did go ahead and dry brush white over the mineral. Now, I know a lot of people are doing these, but I put a spin on it that I haven't seen yet. I mean, if you've seen someone else do it, please comment down below. I'd like to see their version of this. But anyways, I'm mixing some Super Gloss Mod Podge with some brown craft paint colors. And I'm going to paint on one of the large styrofoam bunnies from Dollar Tree, as well as 2 of the small bunnies and 3 of the small styrofoam eggs. And it did take, I think, 3 or maybe 4 coats to get complete opaque coverage on these bunnies. Now, this is my spin. I'm going to make those terribly derpy candy eyes that you see on chocolate bunnies. So I'm mixing some, I think it's Prussian blue. Yeah, Prussian blue mica powder into some UV resin. The mica powder is from Amazon. I am not even sure what the brand is. I can't read it on my tiny laptop. But I got a pack of multicolors on Amazon. And then the resin is Sophie and Toffee UV resin. I actually only have that because I got Nerdy Crafters crafting box, not another crap kit, which I intend to film someday, but who knows when. Anyways, now I am mixing up some yellow. I did cure the blue, as you saw before. I put in the yellow just to make sure that the colors don't mix together. And because these cavities are so tiny, I am using a toothpick to fill them up. And it only takes a couple seconds to cure, so I do hit it from the front and the back to make sure. But I probably did it for maybe 30 seconds overall, not even a full minute. The Sophie and Toffee cures really well. Well, especially in these small quantities. And now I'm using E6000 to attach it to the bunny. And I'm just going to press it in really good into the foam just to make sure it stays secure. And then I'm going to make one of those really tacky looking bows that you see on chocolate bunnies. This is just for the larger one. I made eyes for all 3 bunnies, but the bow is only for the largest bunny. And because it's not going to be an awesome professional bow and it's supposed to look kind of janky, I am just hot gluing it together. And then to attach it to the bunny, I'm going to use E6000 again, but I will put a little bit of hot glue to get that immediate hold. Now, these were sort of a disaster. My original intention was to do some clay, like 3D clay elements on these, and or to put some frosting, faux frosting on them to make them look sort of either vintage or like dessert or both. However, I ran out of time and I needed to fill my tier tray with something, so I thought the eggs would be good. And as you can see in the upper left corner, I originally tried to paint on them with fabric paint, and it was a complete disaster. So I wiped that off, and that's why these eggs are getting glittered, because you could kind of see the marbled colors of where I wiped it off and it looked bad, so I figured the glitter would cover it. Then for a bunch of the other eggs, I'm actually going to do different patterns, but I didn't want to bore you showing you every single one, so I'm just showing you this one. And then you'll get to see the other patterns a little bit in a second, because I did show each one a little bit while I'm putting the clear coat on them. But I discovered that I do not like decorating eggs, and I'm not that good at it, but whatever, it is what it is. And these paint pens are by a company called Artistro. I wanted to try them as an alternative to Poscas because I can't afford Poscas. They're okay. I don't know if I'm using them wrong or if it's just how they are, but I feel like the ink doesn't stay flowing when I want it to, or some of them do and some don't. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So I don't think I'll purchase them again, but I will continue to use them until they're gone because I paid for them. And this is the Super Gloss Mod Podge that I'm using. And for the glitter eggs, I am also sealing those because I hate getting glitter everywhere. I'm just globbing on a ton of Mod Podge so that the whole surface is nice and wet. And then once the entire surface is wet, I will go like a stroke down each side all the way around to get off the excess. I hope that makes sense. You'll see it sped up here in a second what I mean. I wipe off the excess and then one long stroke, wipe off the excess, one long stroke, and I just keep repeating that. And it gives you a nice smooth finish. But it also means I got tons of glitter into my glossy Mod Podge. However, that's easy to fix. I'll just make a new cover. And these little containers come from Dollar Tree. I always pour my glues and Mod Podges into a separate container to use with a brush, because if you dip from the bottle, you're going to get the glitter and all that stuff in your bottle. And this is just to kind of show you basically what I did. You're not going to get a lot of detail because of the camera angles, but you'll see them in the final reveal. My mom had a couple of little decorative items that she wanted to fill with flowers, so that's what I'm doing. This is a mug. And it's funny to me because as hard as I worked on all these DIYs, both my niece and my mom were like, "Oh my god, the bunny butt is so cute." Like, they were more impressed by this bunny's rear that I bought at Dollar Tree than they were by everything else. And these florals, I believe, are from Dollar Tree, but like years ago. My mom's had them for a while, just hanging out in storage. And so I took them to make an arrangement with. One is, what are those, lilies? And the other one is butterflies. And then this Easter grass came from Dollar Tree, so I'm just using that to cover the bottom a little better so you don't see the floral foam. And then for this one, I'm using all glittery elements. And this little container, even though it has ears on it because it's a bunny, I end up sticking bunny ears in it. And that might look weird because it's double ears, but whatever, it is what it is, and I'm not remaking it. So, but the ears had come attached to this sprig of green glittery grass. So when I detached the ears, I thought I'll stick the grass in there too. And this video is a little bit out of order because I actually did pull this apart and put it together a second time. So don't be confused by eggs that you saw me put in, then suddenly being on the table again. But once I get all my glittery, I don't know what you call it. It looks like seaweed to me, but it's something from the Dollar Tree. Get all those in and my little sprigs of green grass, and then I stick in my eggs. And then lastly, I'm going to stick in my glittery bunny ears. And again, closer look at the final reveal. Now these 3 DIYs are all stuck together because I kept switching back and forth between them in order to let the paint dry. So the first one here is the carrot bundles. These little carrots come in a pack of 6 from Dollar Tree. So I'm hot gluing them together. And then I'm going to paint this little bunny, which is from Dollar Tree, white. And I'll be going back to that later when it's dry. This is more of the butcher's twine from Dollar Tree. I'm just wrapping that around to bundle or make it look like the carrots are bundled together. Now we're going to set that aside for now. And this, I'm taking one of those wooden eggs again, and I'm painting it blue. This is Waverly Lagoon, I think. And then I have these wooden beads from Amazon. I'm painting 6 of the smallest ones in Lagoon, and then 6 of the next size up in yellow, which is Maze, I believe, by Waverly. And then I mixed up a custom color for the pink ones. It's lacquer, which is like a pinkish red, mixed with ivory. And again, I did 6 of those. Now moving on to another project. This is a scrap piece of wood left over from a Christmas kit, and I am painting that with Waverly's Lavender. And I got these Scrabble letters on Amazon, so they're just in my stash, and I reach for them whenever I need Scrabble letters. And I'm just using E6000 on this. And then this little bunny is dry, so I'm just writing on it, bunny treats. And I tied a little piece of the twine around the bunny's neck, and now I'm attaching it to the twine on the carrots and tying it into a bow so that he looks like he has a little bow tie on. And I'm going to take my hand drill now and put a hole in the top of the Easter egg so that I can string some more twine through the top, because I'm making a miniature beaded garland. And I was struggling to get it through this hole, so sometimes tweezers are nice to have around. Now I'm just going to alternate the beads. I'm doing yellow, pink, blue until I have all of the beads on there. And then I'm taking the remainder, except for one tiny piece, which I already cut, which is off to the side. I'm taking the rest of my twine and making a tassel. So I am tying it to the beaded garland with the leftover string. And then I cut it open. And then with my one little remaining piece of twine, I'm going to tie it around the tassel so that it keeps it shut. I'm sure you've seen a million tutorials on beaded garlands. It's the same as everybody else's. And I'm taking those Artistro markers again, and I'm going to decorate my little eggie. And I do decorate both sides just in case it flips over or you need to see it from the other side. They'll both look cute. Now I had painted 2 more of these bunnies, and since I was out of the yellow butcher's twine, I used some pink butcher's twine, and I put one around one bunny's neck and one around the other bunny's ear. So here we are. One of these days I'm going to learn how to film so that it's not so shaky and looks professional, but until then, here's what you get. That little dry erase sign in the back I got at Dollar Tree. I thought that was awesome. And that jelly bean sign is also from Dollar Tree. If I had more time, I would have filled the cracks in on those chocolate bunnies with some spackle before I painted them, but I had to try to get things done quickly. Are you dizzy yet? And here I had the exposure up too high on my camera, so it's kind of washed out. Super professional. Stephen King really portrays the cuteness, right? Also, please excuse all my dust. It's very hard to keep black furniture dust free. That little bunny, the blue one, came from Walmart. He had a blue ribbon, so I swapped it out for a pink one.
I'm back. Did I scare you? I'm sorry. I get very excited, especially about Easter. Do you get excited about Easter? Do you? Do you? Hey, did you like this video? I liked it. I liked it so much! If you liked it, you should comment and subscribe. Oh, what's that? You think I'm weird, huh? Well, you should see her cat. That thing is weird.
Did you die? Are you sleeping like that? I think she's out cold with her eyes open because she's a creep. Oh, there she goes. Hi, creepy.